Hello students, I'm Himani Sharma, your educator. I warmly welcome you all on this YouTube platform where we are going to discuss in this particular video about the syllabus discussion of UGC NET English Literature Paper 2. So if you guys would have come across of part 1 or if you guys would not have come across that particular video, I have made a part 1 video where I've tried to discuss several units of the syllabus. And this is the part 2. So, we are going to talk about the syllabus of part 2. Now, you guys would be knowing NTA NET की जो examination होती है, there are two papers which are held basically for UGC NET, right? And the span for both of them is 3 hours, single duration. This paper is basically if you want to be an assistant professor. So the minimum eligibility qualification required to be an assistant professor in India is UGC NET qualified, or if you want to be someone who wants to enroll in PhD, right? So the paper pattern is, the paper is divided into two parts. Paper 1, which is generally known as teaching and research aptitude. Paper 1 has 10 units in its entirety, right? So paper 1 mein how many questions are there? We have 50 questions. Har ek question carries 2 marks, sorry. So we have 100 marks for this, and paper 2, which is your subject specific area, the subject in which you have done your masters and scored 55% of marks for general category without rounding them off, and 50% for the other categories such as SC, ST, OBC, transgender, etc. with 50% of marks again without rounding them off, correct? So paper 2 जिसमें आपने masters करी है, and this paper 2 has 100 questions which is equal to 200 marks in its totality. So the entire paper comprises of 150 questions that carry 300 marks, correct? Now, this syllabus I have discussed, what units I have discussed in part 1? I have tried to incorporate drama, poetry, fiction, short story, non-fictional prose and English in India. And in this video, we are going to deal with language that is related to ELT, how English should be taught in the classes, the linguistic terms, etc. which are important. Unit 7, cultural studies, literary criticism, theory, literary theory and research methods. These are the rest of the units that we are going to talk about the syllabus in an outlined manner. The syllabus is not just restricted to what I have provided you in the slides. The syllabus is much more than that, right? But just to give you an idea as in how to start your preparation, what to incorporate, what are the major and important elements if you want to prepare for such an examination, right? So the first is language, basic concepts, theories and pedagogy and English in use. So you guys would be knowing आजकल के time पे there are many things like we have the examination of IELTS. जब लोग Canada etc. जाते हैं, they appear for such examinations. We have EFL course, right? English foreign languages, English language for foreign purposes as well, right? So what are the theories, how English should be taught? There are many language acquisition theories. Acquire करने के लिए बहुत सारी theories है, where we have a very prominent writer, linguist who is known as Noam Chomsky, right? We have Jean Piaget theories, Vygotsky, and second language acquisition, which is a really important and a hot topic for UGC NET aspirants, because they want to see how do you, if you want to acquire a second language, how the teacher should be teaching you. So this particular unit incorporates the teaching and learning methods which are required when a person wants to be an English learner, right? And here, second language acquisition की theory किसने दी थी? Stephen Krashen, etc. Right? So Stephen Krashen is the major figure when we try to talk about a second language acquisition. There are many theories which are by Lozanov as well, which talks about suggestopedia, right? So these terms such as the methods, direct method, grammar translation method, which is a classical method, from the Latin ages as well, audiolingual method, structural approach, communicative language teaching, silent way, task-based language learning, Suggestopedia, etc. These are some of the methods, most important methods, I would rather say, when a person wants to be a teacher in, teaching English, or if a person wants to learn English. These are several ways which are there. Correct? Then we have linguistics as well. How do you pronounce certain words? What are the different usages of the terms, such like, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, pragmatics, phonetics, etc. Jisme phonemes, morphemes. What are these? What are these standards of units which are used when a person is trying to learn or acquire a new language? Correct? So we have Creole, Pidgin. ये सारी चीजें क्या है? What is Creole? Creole is an amalgamation of two cultures making a simple language. ठीक है? तो आप लोगों के लिए ये topic is really, not just for you, for other examinations as well. You can acquire learning from this particular examination. You can apply it even your set examinations as well. Correct? Then we have cultural studies. Very, very important topic related to literary theory as well. So cultural studies, how culture is a way of living and how our culture also defines things, how we live, how we acquire certain things, how the material production is there, right? So Stuart Hall, the major figure who is related to the cultural identity, media studies. Michel Foucault, who talks about power, discourse, knowledge. How through knowledge, एक इंसान knowledge के through how the hegemony is perpetuated, how the power is, spread through the discourses, like we have written discourses, we have oral discourses as well. How can you spread your power through that? Edward Said, giving us the theory of post-colonialism, culture and Orientalism, where the Occidents, how the Western people view the Orients as well, correct? That particular thing. Then Spivak, where she talks about feminism. She has written a very prominent essay known as Can the Subalterns Speak?, where she is trying to talk about the marginalized, the oppressed groups of society, which she says, why do they need representatives? If someone from their group is also representing them, it means that the subalterns by their own selves yet are not speaking for their own selves as well. Correct? Homi K. Bhabha, who gave us the concept of hybridity, mimicry, hybridity, the cultural amalgamation of different cultures, hybridity. Judith Butler, who is related with the theory of gender studies and performativity. She says that we are not born with a particular gender, but we rather perform our gender. Whatever societal norms, etc. are established for us, we perform those things. We perform the role that we are born with, right? Richard Hoggart, cultural studies pioneer, very, very important writer, right? When we try to talk about this particular unit. Lawrence Grossberg, popular culture, a recent phenomena. Angela McRobbie, media and gender studies. Paul Gilroy, about the race, ethnicity. We have Laura Mulvey as well. We have one important writer related with media studies as well, Laura Mulvey, who is associated with the male gaze. That even when a director, even if he or she is a male or a female, etc., they are creating the item songs, etc., in the movies for the male gaze. And having that male gaze because they think beyond the camera, beyond the screen, the males are going to view that with so much sensation and all, correct? That's why in movies, if you see when an actress, a hot actress is introduced, they move, they show it, the introduction scene is through, showing her kamar and other things as well. So how the women are sexualized for the male gaze as well. And there's a very prominent, Elias Grace is a very short novel by Margaret Atwood. ठीक है, तो उसके ऊपर सीरीज भी बनी हुई है Netflix पे, where if you watch, it's a mini series, if you watch one, you will know what she is trying to say. Correct? Then we have literary criticism dating back from Aristotle, Plato, Aristotle ke Poetics, where he tries to define tragedy, right? How he tries to talk about hamartia, catharsis, these important terms, in which chapters they are, that is really important. Plato is also really important when we try to talk about his sense of republic, and he says कि poets को तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए, Poets should be banned from the Republic. Why did he say that? If you know, you can drop it in the comment section below, right? Chaucer, Canterbury Tales, which serves a very pioneer role here. Sydney, An Apology for Poetry. Bacon, The Advancement of Learning, where he uses lots of aphorisms, right? And he's penned many essays, so to say. Dryden, an essay of dramatic poesy, where we see the differentiation between the modern drama, the French, the English drama as well. So there are different characters, what are they defining, who stands for whom, etc. Poe, essay on criticism. Johnson, preface to Shakespeare, dictionary of the English language. Wordsworth, lyrical ballads. Not just a piece of poetry, but how his theory of poems, that the poetry should be for the common people, the common masses. Coleridge's Biographia Literaria from the Romantic period as well is a prominent example. Matthew Arnold, when you're preparing for literary criticism, you cannot even and ever miss Matthew Arnold, the study of poetry. Not just this work, many of his works are important. Ruskin, The Seven Lamps of Architecture, and we also have one work, Modern Painters. ठीक है, वो भी बहुत important है. T.S. Eliot, who has penned down Wasteland, which has many allegorical things there. If we try to talk about allegory, and it's an amalgamation of many cultures. We have Sanskrit there, we have Latin there. So we can, through the lens of literary criticism, we can look at that particular piece of poem and how it has been divided in different sections. Eliot with tradition and the individual talent. Hamlet and his problems. These are really important texts when you are trying to talk about the literary criticism field. Virginia Woolf, associated with A Room of One's Own, where she tries to talk about the financial independence that a woman should have, and a room there, the independence that comes with the financial stability, she tries to talk about. This is a very prominent feminist oriented text. Okay? Then we have in literary theory, which is somewhere or the other related to cultural studies as well. So it's an amalgamation of the same. Here we have the important writers such as Roland Barthes, who tries to talk about the death of the author, tries to talk about the myths, mythologies which are related. He tries to talk about beer, wine, surf, all these things in his work, mythologies as well. Jacques Derrida, who is associated with the theory of deconstruction, right, where he wants to deconstruct the ideologies. The major important works which are time and again asked in the NET examination are of grammatology, structure, sign and play in the discourse of human sciences, and of grammatology was translated by Gayatri Chakrabarti Spivak, right? So ये facts important हो जाते from an important perspective examination वाले. Michel Foucault, I tried to tell you all about the theory of discourse, power, knowledge, how he tries to talk about it, right? So discourse analysis with his works like The Order of Things, Discipline and Punish, etc. Julia Kristeva, intertextuality. ये कई बार ऐसे concepts डाल के they ask questions related to that. So intertextuality, she says that the texts are always and always interrelated. We should read the text with one over the other as well, right? So our works like Powers of Horror, Desired Language, etc. are important. Gayatri Spivak, Post-Colonialism, Can the Subaltern Speak? Translation of Grammatology. Said ka Orientalism, right? Terry Galton, related with Marxism, right? With Literary Theory and Introduction. These are certain books which are important from the examination perspective, and the list is not just limited to this one. Then we have Walter Benjamin, who is related to the theory of aesthetics, the work of art in the age of mechanical reproduction. Then Paul Ricord, narrative theory, how we narrate things, etc. Time and narrative. Northrop Frye, archetypal criticism, archetypes, how the cultural archetypes are there. अगर आप लोग ने सुना होगा about the black cat and all, कि इंडिया में there is a superstition कि अगर black cat हमारा रास्ता काट जाए, the entire day will go in waste, or maybe something bad is going to happen and all, right? So how the archetypes are associated with one another, he talks about that. Bakhtin is really important with his theory of dialogism, with works like The Dialogic Imagination, Problem of Dostoevsky's Poetics, correct? सो ये वर्क्स को आप कभी मिस नहीं कर सकते. लिस्ट यहाँ पे बहुत लंबी है, बट आई हैव ट्राइड टू इनकॉर्पोरेट द इंपॉर्टेंट वर्क्स. अगेन आई वुड पुट एन एम्फसिस ऑन. Then we have research methods and methodology in English, which is a unit, which is an easier one to do because you are going to prepare for research methodology in your paper 1 as well. So the major traits, if you prepare for the paper 1 research aptitude unit, you will be good to go. But here just some aspects are important. Number 1 is you need to know about the practical research and theoretical research when we try to talk about it in the field of English language, English literature. Secondly, how the qualitative textual analysis are done. अगर हम themes की बात करते हैं, if we try to decode anything related to a particular text, if we try to apply literary theory on the same, if I am viewing a particular text from a feminist point of view, from a post-colonial lens, so on and so forth, psychological analysis, sociological analysis. If we try to look at the psychological analysis, we can look at the indecisiveness that Hamlet also had, to be or not to be, why this quote, how to use it, right? This is psychoanalytical criticism. Quantitative, how many times, if let's just say if I read Jane Austen's works, unme kitni baar love ki theme aayi hai. So quantitative on stats as well, we can work and move forward by doing these particular things. Now one thing that I want to add in here is that we from the English literature background are the students who are the ones who use these styles of referencing such as MLA. Styles of referencing, MLA. This MLA is modern, it stands for modern language, association, and this is a particular way of citing any work. तो अगर आप किसी के journal से, resources से, etc., you are taking certain things, you need to quote it. You need to put them in several quotes, cite the name of the writer as well. So MLA, जो भी edition आता है, currently the 10th edition is going on. You need to know particular things, how to cite the author, the work, etc. at the end, correct? So with this, I hope the syllabus is pretty much clear with you all. You can watch the part 1 video as well for a better understanding of the other units. I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye-bye.